Thanks, Hannah. Appreciate it. So my name is Ronald Smith. I'm a public administration student here at OU Tulsa. Over the last semester, the team has had an opportunity to work with some really driven entrepreneurs, some very talented engineers and physicians to help chart a path for a new colonoscopy add-on device. So the promise of this device is that it is going to potentially save many thousands of lives in the next several years. It's going to be a powerful new tool in the fight against colon cancer. So we're going to show you here very shortly how this device is going to meet all the requirements necessary that physicians have when they're purchasing a device. It's going to be a device that patients ask for because of its efficacy, and it's going to be a product that the physicians love to use. So it's been some late nights over the past semester. There's been a lot of coffee and tea. There's been some arguments and heavy discussions about how to take this product to market. But I think as this date got closer and closer, the team just got more and more excited about not only the potential of the product, but just how many lives it's going to affect in the coming years. So without further ado, the I-CCEW Spring Tulsa team for 2019.
Good afternoon, all. Thank you for joining us today. It's estimated that in 2019, approximately 800 Oklahomans will die of colorectal cancer. Colorectal cancer can be easily prevented and treated through quality colonoscopy screenings. Over the past several months, our team has been working with inventor Dr. Haki Rafai and his company Digital Surgical to market a new colonoscopy add-on device that will help physicians detect cancer-causing adenomas and improve patient care across Oklahoma, the nation, and hopefully the globe. Over the past several months, we have conducted dozens of interviews with physicians, oncologists, business development experts, medical device experts, and more. And we've already identified several potential beta test customers. In addition, we are able to determine that in the first year alone, this device has the opportunity to impact 30,000 high-risk patients and to also provide physicians with revenue of $44,000 in profit using this device. My name is Andrea Pemberton, and I am currently seeking my master's in organizational dynamics here at OU Tulsa.
My name is Marvin Manalastas, and I'm currently taking up electrical and computer engineering.
And my name is Alyssa Renberg, and I'm getting my master's in public health.
Colorectal cancer is the second leading cause of death in the U.S. for both men and women. Colorectal cancer, as we mentioned before, can be easily prevented through screenings. For those of you who have not had the distinct pleasure of a colonoscopy, it is a simple outpatient procedure in which a physician inserts a flexible tubing device to check for cancer-causing growths called adenomas or polyps. Polyps are incredibly common, with over 50% of the population over 60 years of age having one or more, and with age increasing chances of polyps. While colonoscopies are still the most prevalent and best method for screening and detecting cancer-causing adenomas, there are still many drawbacks to this method. $1.3 billion was spent in the U.S. in 2016 alone showing the prevalence. And with cancer rates on the rise for people ages 20 to 34 by up to 90%, as well as a high portion of 60 and older having polyps, colorectal cancer is still a very pressing concern for gastroenterologists and oncologists. Marvin will now walk you through some of the difficulties that physicians are experiencing with colonoscopies and how to improve care using Digital Surgical's new technology.
Thank you very much, Andrea. So currently, 26% of these deadly polyps and adenomas are being missed during a standard colonoscopy procedure. This percentage is very alarming considering the importance of early detections of this colon polyp. According to the National Cancer Institute, the 5-year survival rate of a person diagnosed at stage 1 colorectal cancer is around 92%. However, if diagnosis occurred at stage 4, this percentage will drop to just 11%. Aside from these staggering statistics is a study which shows that 6% of the patients will develop colorectal cancer within 3 years even after undergoing a clear colonoscopy test. This high adenoma miss rate is caused by two particular reasons. Firstly, is because of the nature of the polyp. Studies shows that the size of the polyp affects the most in its detection. Polyps of sizes 1 millimeter to 2 millimeters are very tiny that they are easily missed. Aside from that, the color, the shape, and the folds inside our colon also add to the hardness in the detection. The second cause is due to human error. So studies shows that an inexperienced practitioner is 5 times more likely to miss the polyp compared to an experienced one. Digital surgical will help reduce this current polyp and adenoma miss rate by 24% to just 1 to 2%. This device will revolutionize the current suboptimal efficacy of colonoscopy device and procedure. It will do this by using a combination of a software and hardware components. The hardware component will be composed of a next-generation sensing system which will accurately detect abnormalities inside our colon. This sensor will detect even those tiny polyps of sizes 1 millimeter to 2 millimeters which are usually missed. Aiding this sensor is a software component which will provide on-screen and real-time guidance to the physicians in maneuvering the endoscope in the most effective and efficient manner. This component will alert the doctors using alerts and alarms and indicators on the screen that they missed a polyp. This will benefit both the experienced, but most importantly, those doctors or physicians in the rural areas which specializations are generalized and they don't have that much experience in performing the colonoscopy. Using digital surgical, the risk of developing colorectal cancer after undergoing a colonoscopy will be greatly reduced. A lot of devices and technologies already tried to reduce this high polyp miss rate. However, so far, none of them succeeded. Digital surgical, once commercialized, will be the best add-on devices in detecting these polyps. We have interviewed several doctors, physicians, and gastroenterologists and have found out that they are looking for a device which is safe, cheap, effective, easy to use, easy to clean, that they will adopt and use it. However, currently, no devices possess all of these metrics. Digital surgical's vision is to possess all of these important metrics that doctors are looking for an add-on device. Currently, add-on devices are either not safe, such as mechanical add-on devices, or are very expensive, such as virtual colonoscopy and narrowband imaging, that they are not widely used and adopted by doctors and hospitals. Currently, AI-assisted colonoscopy add-on devices will be the toughest competitor of digital surgical once they are out in the market. That's why digital surgical should pay close attention to these companies. The only missing piece digital surgical is needing is the reimbursement code from the insurance company to make it more attractive and competitive. Andrea now will talk about the market analysis.
Thank you, Marvin. Digital surgical is expected to enter into an $800 million market in the U.S. in 2021. As you can see, the market is segmented into 3 main pieces. Hospitals take up the lion's share of the market, but are followed by ambulatory surgical centers and other end users, including training centers and diagnostic centers. Interviews with physicians and billing departments indicate that the best place of entry for digital surgical is through private practices, namely because that they are highly physician controlled and able to make quick decisions without a lot of bureaucracy through their committees and departments for buying. Moreover, discussions with oncologists and physicians indicate that we need to enter into the rural markets because doctors in these areas tend to be generalized and don't have as much experience performing colonoscopies, making this device even more efficacious and improving care for the patients in these rural areas. We recommend that digital surgical enter into these states listed here on the screen for 3 main reasons. 1, that it is close to the manufacturer here in Oklahoma that will produce the device initially. Second, there's a high proportion of rural physicians and clinics in these areas. And lastly, according to American Cancer Society, some of these states, including Oklahoma, have the highest rate of colorectal cancer rates and death. Once Digital Surgical has entered into the rural market and private clinics and established some beta test customers, they will be able to license the device to larger corporate medical device corporations and then move into urban markets as well as other states and hopefully the globe.
Thank you, Andrea. To obtain a licensee, Digital Surgical must first prove its effectiveness and profit potential. There are two phases in this business model. The first phase, Digital Surgical must get this product in the hands of beta customers. They will hire a sales rep who will call on doctors, small clinics, universities, and sell it at a discounted price. Once they prove profitability and proof of concept, they will license to a large company like Olympus, who has 70% of the global endoscopy market. Through research, Digital Surgical should expect a $500,000 upfront fee as well as 7% monthly royalties from the product device. While waiting for the insurance reimbursement code, patients have the option to pay $100 to opt in for an extra screening. If a doctor performs 10 colonoscopies in a day, and 2 out of those 10 are at high risk, after 4 weeks, the doctor should have the instrument paid for, and after the year, profit $44,000. Digital Surgical can break even after the first year and can profit $2.48 million over 5 years. $1.5 million is needed to start up. After receiving 2 grants of $525,000, Digital Surgical starts in the red for $975,000 while waiting for FDA approval. The first year, Digital Surgical receives a $1.5 million grant from NIH. On year 2, when Digital Surgical becomes licensed by Olympus, who will take over all operating expenses, will also receive their upfront $500,000 fee. By year 5, Digital Surgical will have 42% of the market share and bring in $688,000 in royalties, which will also have been used on 1 million patients. This number is a conservative number considering that Olympus has over 70% of the market share.
Digital Surgical should take immediate steps to begin the commercialization process. In the pre-FDA approval phase, Digital Surgical and Dr. Rafai should finish their bench and animal testing in order to apply for the 510K pre-market approval for the FDA. During this time, Dr. Rafai should also be building his network of potential beta customers to sell as soon as FDA approval is granted. To small business innovation research grants from the National Institute of Health, as well as any other grants that will allow him to reimburse for initial startup costs. Once FDA approval and early beta testing, Digital Surgical should seek a licensing agreement with a major medical device company such as Olympus and should seek a permanent reimbursement code from Centers of Medicare and Medicaid Services so that the device will be covered through insurance cost and will alleviate payment from the patient. We know that with these recommendations, Digital Surgical will be a profitable company that will be able to save thousands of lives. We thank you for your time. The floor is now open for questions.